Guys, what's going on?
That's your sister.
Yes, I know that. What's she doing?
She's telling everyone about her latest save. Did you know she has telekinesis and freeze breath?
So do I.
Yeah, I don't think so, bro.
Well, if you like her stories, they're gonna love mine. Excuse me, pardon me, hero coming through. So there I was, face to face with history's greatest villain, Dark Mayhem.
Wait, weren't you working for Dark Mayhem?
Haven't you only been good for like a week?
Are you using a new moisturizer?
You want to hear the story or not? Wait, hey, come back! It is a new moisturizer, and I'm just as good a superhero as Phoebe.
Whoa! Let's not get carried away. I've been training my whole life to be a superhero while you've been trying to be a super villain?
That was a phase. Try to tell you guys, no one listened to me.
Jack Griffo, ladies and gentlemen, come on.
Yes.
Here, we got him.
It's true.
How cool. Jack, thank you so much for taking some time and
Thank
joining
you.
us and hanging out. Congratulations on everything you got going on. You were just Friday over at the Halo Awards, is that right?
I was, yeah, the Halo Awards. They were really fun this year. We had a lot of cool performances, and Nick Cannon and his energy is so cool to hang out with. And
That's right. Nick Cannon, I believe he created, hosts, produced. It's like the Nick
Yeah.
Cannon show, and it's a great thing. Tell people, for some of the people that still don't know, even though it's in its 8th year, what the Halo Awards are and what that's all about.
Yeah. The Halo Awards, it's a really cool thing because, you know, as opposed to normally we have to do these award shows about us and get best TV actor and best movie actor and, you know, all these things, but the Halo Awards are so cool because we finally get to take a day and really a couple weeks really in preparation and honor these kids, these you know, normal kids in their communities doing really cool things like raising money, you know, forming charities, and so there's usually like 4 honorees each year, and they're just great kids. And so we get together and, like, you know, put them on display and really honor them. So it's a cool thing.
Yeah, it's very cool, and it's a lot of fun too. From years past, you know, there's tons of amazing performances and a lot of fun. And as you mentioned, you know, the great Nick Cannon. So you get to work with him a lot.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we've had him here a couple of times. That dude is the only way I can describe it, the real deal. He's all the way.
Yeah,
like
he's
working
cool.
with him.
You know, he's a cool guy. We did a little promo for the Halo Awards. We were basically hype men for this group. It was like right near Fifth Ave, right near the Apple Store right there. Oh, yeah, we were like, we were outside and this dance group was doing like a thing, and we were like hype men. It was really cool. I actually have a really funny Nick Cannon story.
I think you have to tell us.
I have a really good Nick Cannon story. You guys want to hear it?
How lucky is this?
Okay. Years ago, before our Thundermans, before Nickelodeon or Disney or any of it, I was still auditioning. I was like 15 or something like that. And I was going in for like a sketch sort of show, like an improv sort of sketch thing, and he was there. I knew Nick Cannon was going to be there, and it was like his show. And so, you know, we had to come up with these sketches, and me and my brother sat down, and we took Hey There Delilah, because I knew how to play it on guitar, that Plain White T's song, Hey There Delilah, and we changed the words to Hey There Mariah. And this was way back when they were together and all that. It was good, and we changed all the words, and it was really funny. And I went in and did my bit, and he really liked it and laughed. I didn't get the part, but it was good. So I didn't mention it to him. I was thinking about it, but I decided just to not since that whole thing. So.
For me, one of the things about Nick, this is the closest I get to a Nick Cannon story a couple times we've had here. No matter how good you think you're looking that day or how confident you feel what you're wearing, Nick Cannon always shows up in the flyest suit I've ever seen in my entire life.
I talked to his one of his stylists actually, and because I went up to her and I was like, where did he get that? It's so cool. Like, he has the coolest clothes. So.
He really does.
Yeah.
So aside from Nick Cannon, there's tons and tons of cool people at the Halo Awards. Any fun people you bumped into or you got to work with or hang out with?
You know, I met barely Haley Steinfeld. That was really cool, and I've been a fan of hers. That song "Starving" is so good. And Zed was there because he features on that song, and that was really cool. I'm a big EDM fan, so like getting to see Zed close up. And I didn't even realize it was him at first because you know these EDM guys, they kind of really don't like publicize their face much about the music. And he walks in, I'm like, I think that's Zed. But Jason Derulo was there. That was really cool. I've been a big fan of his since since What You Say. You guys remember that song? What You Say?
Good song. Good song.
Yeah.
A lot of memories. So this was, how many years have you been hosting with Halo? Or not hosting, but like hanging out with it?
I think this was my. I went in 2014.
Okay.
And this is my second year going. I didn't
second.
get to go last year. I think we were working on the show or something like that.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about the whole thing? 'Cause it's such a huge production. There's so much going on.
Halo Awards?
Yeah.
I think the fact, what I said earlier, that like we get to kind of to honor these kids and make it about something that matters. Not that like the stuff we do doesn't matter. It's just that it's a cool, different kind of thing. You know what I mean? That we get to talk about something else. You know, and make other kids in our communities and in the country really realize that this is really important. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's amazing. If you guys, they just happened, but they're going to air. They're coming up on, I want to say the 27th, right? Yeah, at 7 p.m. It's a huge deal, too. You can't miss it. It's not going to only be on Nickelodeon. It's on Teen Nick. It's going to be on Nicktoons. If you get any Nick anything, you're going to be able to see this show.
Watch the Halo Awards.
You're not going to want to miss them. They're pretty incredible. So I also want to talk to you about, we're going to talk about the Thundermans in a second.
Sure.
Of course.
Yes.
But I want to talk to you a little bit about music for a second, man. Just like find out what's going on with you in the world of music. I can say as a musician, if you play anything at all, you always want to play more and always have something going on in the back of your mind. So what's going on in your world music-wise? I know you've been busy lately.
Yeah, I've been really busy. You know, I've done music forever. Like since a little kid, I was really into music and even musical theater. And I started playing guitar when I was like 12. And I do that every day. And it's funny because I used to have a YouTube channel. I did covers and stuff before Thundermans, before I got super busy. And I stopped around the time that I got the show when I was 16. I just started really focusing and putting all my energy into the show. And a lot of the fans, a lot of the people online it's kind of ironic because they thought that I kind of forgot about my music or that, you know, I wasn't into it anymore. But in reality, I really just got more into it. Mm-hmm. I just started doing it kind of behind closed doors, and I think it's because around the time I turned 16 and started doing the show and got more into my music, it kind of was obvious to me that it was such a personal thing and such an important thing that I didn't want to do anything without it being organic and real and not forced. Because I had experienced that before, you know, having to do something that wasn't, you know, real from me. Yeah. And that's, you know, just, it's not, I knew right away that with music, I couldn't do that, and I didn't want to do that, and I needed to wait and practice, and you know, the time will be right. You know, that's my stance on it.
Well, no, it's cool, and I wanted to ask that question just because you look at that.
It's a good question. It's a big topic of conversation when I look on, you know, my mentions and stuff like, why aren't you doing music? And
yeah, for sure.
And I am. I am doing music. It's just, you know, I'm waiting for the right time to show people and show people, you know, I'm still finding my voice and finding my sound, and like, you know, I think it's too important to just, you know, write off as like, okay, we'll do this EP and it'll be great. But
well, yeah, it's really easy to like look at your YouTube channel and then look at your schedule and like infer, oh, well, he's doing TV now, he's stopped doing music, and it's like, no, well, there's probably more to it than that. So it's like,
you're absolutely right. There's more to it than that. I play music every day. Still figuring out, you know, what kind of music that I want to do. I think it's definitely in the cards for me one day.
Cool.
For sure, and you know, musical theater is also something that's really close to me, and I grew up doing, and so, you know, maybe here in New York one day, you never know. So.
Musical theater. What was your first show that you did? Think way back.
The first.
Like a carrot and like a spring festival thing, like a tap dancing vegetable. I know you guys hope he was, right? I do too. Yeah.
Well, you know, I was in The Music Man. I think that was probably one of my first musicals. I was like 10.
Yeah.
It was like my high school production, and I was in elementary school, and I thought it was so cool that I was in the high school production of Music Man.
What were you in Music Man? One of my favorite things about like those early days is like if you got one of those, you learn parts that you didn't even know existed in the show. Like when I was in Wizard of Oz, I was a Winky, which I didn't know.
A Winky?
You know the things that go, oh, wee, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Those have a name. Apparently it's Winky. I was one of those. And I was Zeke.
It's a good name. Oh, yeah?
Zeke is the guy who becomes the lion. I didn't get to be the lion. I got 10 minutes of pre-lion.
Right. Yeah. Pre-lion.
So, like, what were some of your early... Or were you just
Music Man, I played the paper boy in Music Man. You guys remember what do you talk? Where'd you get it? That number. That was
awesome.
me.
That's awesome.
I was in A Christmas Story. That was just a play. I did a High School Musical too.
Nice.
When I was like 12. Yeah.
Good memories.
Yeah, I mean, the theater is something that, I did before the Thundermans, obviously.
Right.
I grew up in Orlando. I started acting. My older brothers were in a theater magnet high school, and I couldn't do that yet. I was too young, so, I begged my parents to just do it somehow, and so I got involved in my community theater. I did To Kill a Mockingbird. That was really great. That was actually a really cool experience for me as a kid because it was the first thing I did that was pretty serious. I remember there was one scene, the court scene, when everything it was all going down, and I had to just I had to be there and be present and looking at everything and making and my director would be like, Jack, you're like sleeping in the back, we see you, but. Yeah, that was a good experience, definitely.
For sure. Well, it's a totally different beast, right? On the stage, it's always discussed sort of like the difference between stage acting and in front of the camera and all that stuff.
Yeah.
How did you sort of handle that transition or find that way? Who did you rely on and what did you sort of do?
Well, it is different. It is different. Like, for example, when I was like 13 or so, I did The Outsiders. I did the play, the play version of it, and I was Ponyboy, and I had to remember so many lines, and I was narrating the whole. Stay golden, exactly. I was narrating the whole thing, and as opposed to TV, when you get these chances take after take after take to kind of to get it right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was what was so attractive about the theater to me and appealing was that you get that one shot to really experience something in front of an audience and take them on that journey with you, and being on the show and Thundermans, I've been really fortunate we have a live audience every now and then to kind of feel that energy. It's very similar to theater, and so yeah, just to be in my element like that I'm super grateful for. Yeah,
it's exciting. It's also a little more relaxed because, like you said, with the show, you can do another take, you can do a couple of things.
Exactly. It's not as high stakes. It's not as high pressure. And I'm not, and truly, I find that in theater you can be more in the moment because it's all one take. You know what I mean? It's like a oneer basically. You just do the story. You just are there in the story, and that kind of allows us as actors to just really rely on each other. I was just saying to someone like 2 minutes ago. I did a play reading yesterday for the Actors Fund, and I was working with an amazing, amazing actress. And she had won Tonys and just really cool, and I didn't really know, wasn't super aware, and the moment that I knew was when we were in the scene together, and it was like a play, what I mean? So it was all one thing, and I just didn't have to do much, man. All I had to do was just be present with her in the scene, and and that's the beauty of it. And that when it's right and when it's true, it's that you don't really have to try.
And it's fun. It's really fun.
Really
at that
fun.
Because you just get to enjoy the art of doing that.
Yeah.
Well, last question before we go to Thundermans, because I'm really excited to talk about that. But after all the stage stuff, what's your dream stage project? If you can go tomorrow and hop in, what do you want to do right now? What do you think?
I would want to play Moritz Stiefel in Spring Awakening.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very,
it's
very
one of my favorite musicals.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so let's talk about Thundermans. You guys are starting your 4th season?
So our seasons are kind of weird. They're kind of split up. So last year in season 3, we're doing the same thing this year. Last year we shot the first half of the season. We took a break, and then we came back and shot filler episodes. Because basically, in that first order of the first 13, at the end of it, we shot our finale. And then we came back later in the year and shot these filler episodes. And so that's exactly what we're doing this year. Basically, we shot the first half of season 4, the past 6 months. I've been off for a month now, and we're coming back in January to finish, and we'll go to May, and then there's a 5th cycle in our contract. So
fingers crossed we get more, right?
We'll see.
Well, it's super exciting, and I bring it up not to get lost in the weeds of what number season it is or how it works, but it's worth pointing out because that for a lot of shows, that's usually where they kind of find their hit their stride and find their voice and start having
it's
fun
true.
on set and exploring all these different paths and stories. So have you found that to be true? Are you guys really having the best time?
I have, and the network really told us from the beginning, season 1 and 2, that if we were to, if we were to get the ratings and continue on, season 3 and 4 are really the times, really the years that everything amplifies, and the fans start to really know you and like know you by name, and now I'll be on the street, Jack Griffo. It's like you forget. Like I'll talk to Kira, my co-star, and like someone will like say our name, and like we'll really forget that like what we're doing on a day-to-day basis really affects people and really affects our youth and affects the next generation. And it makes me think, when I think back and like, what did I watch as a kid? Well, I watched Drake and Josh, and Drake Bell was such an inspiration to me, and like I wanted to be cool like him, and like just to like kind of have that full circle of like maybe like I might actually be that for these kids is like crazy and rewarding and just a cool thing and a set of pressure that comes along with it, but a good pressure. So.
Right. Well, not to add to that pressure, but you guys did win the 2016 Kids' Choice Award for Best TV Show,
did,
so I think you are a round of applause.
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Thank you.
Right there.
Yeah.
Which leads. You've been a member of the Nickelodeon family for a while now.
Yeah.
You've been slimed.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like? What's going on, man? What is that?
Oh man,
Tell us about
luckily
the
I haven't been slimed recently, but they put us through the ringer, man. They really
How many
hazed us with
times have you
slime.
been? You had
Countless.
Countless?
Even if it wasn't televised, like we would have to do it for a sketch or something that didn't even see the light of day.
Even it's just like, you know what? We may not never use it. Let's just get some slime
Yeah,
on them just in
slime,
case. Guys,
just
can we get some
slime
slime on them just in case?
Literally, that's how it was. Like it was like when we were 16, 17, in the beginning, season 1 and 2 of the show. Like it was cool. It was like an honor, and like in the beginning, like I was really happy to. But then like third time, fourth time, fifth time, it gets in your ears. You know what I mean? It gets in your nose, and it just kind of like days later. I'll be like,
It's like sand from the beach.
literally,
right? Like you think
it
it's
stays.
gone. It's been like a
It
week.
stays, and if you don't shower it off right away, it like stains your skin.
Oh,
Like, you'll have this
man.
weird green tint to your skin.
Is it weird that I still want to at one point get slimed? Even
No,
after all
it's
that?
cool.
Like,
Like
there's
it's an
something about it.
experience. It's something that everyone should experience
It's a
if
rite
you
of
can.
passage.
If you have the opportunity, you should do it.
All right, fair enough. Everybody put it on the list.
Yeah.
So you guys you were talking about these filler episodes. There's a really cool hour-long special coming up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
So
the season 4 finale.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, it's who knows when it.
I think it is season 4 finale, but basically.
But it's coming up on Saturday, right? The 19th?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting.
Where we pick up is at the end of season 3. Max turns good finally, and and that's one thing about the Thundermans that like. When I was auditioning for shows and like auditioning for these Disney and Nickelodeon shows, and I saw them go on. I saw, I wouldn't book it, and I'd see them air, and like I'd be really like down on myself, and having gotten this role, and like I was saying, how I turned good, it's so different from every other show that I've seen that I auditioned for back in the day, in that like that my character really got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Season 1, it was all about being evil and being rebellious, and like And in season 2, it was continuing that in school and like being the bad kid in school and pulling pranks and stuff. And then season 3, the writers really started to change things for my character, Max, in that, episode by episode, slowly by slowly, these things would chip away at him and like make him realize that maybe something else, maybe there are other important things than world domination and being evil. Like, I got this band and my friends became important to me. And then later in the season 3, I got a girlfriend, Allison, and she became important to me. And then it, all kind of culminated to the finale of season 3, where Max was forced to make the decision, take his sister's powers or help his family, and he made the right decision. So, and then season 4 is like completely opposite of season 1 and 2, where I'm good. I'm really trying to be good and training to be on this thing called the Z-Force.
Yeah.
And the Z-Force is like the top elite group of superheroes in our universe, and It's been great, and season 4, the hour long that you were talking about to bring it around full loop is the season 4 finale when me and Phoebe finally compete to be in the Z-Force.
It was very exciting. I wanted to ask you about. I was watching a couple of the episodes, and one of the voices I recognized right away Dr. Colossal.
Dana.
Oh my God, Dana! Yes,
He's
the
in
the
so
great
many
Dana
things,
Snyder. For those who don't know, Dana Snyder, some of you might know, he's the voice of Master Shake on Aqua Teen Hunger Force and a ton of other stuff. That dude has a voice that is just inherently funny.
So cool.
He could say anything, and it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
You got a chance to work with him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is he-
Well, it was cool. I knew him. We knew of him season 1, 2, and I believe it was season 3 when the writers finally decided for Colosso to come back to human form, because he was a human at the end of, in the beginning. My dad turned him into a bunny, and so season 3, as you do,
Yeah.
and season 3, Dana comes to life
Right.
and has the same voice, of course, and is just so funny.
Yeah.
We were because in rehearsal we'll have someone else say his lines.
Of course, yeah.
And it was great, man. And we had him on 2 or 3 times now. Where he turns to human again, and it's always a really good thing. There's actually a really cool plot line at the end of season 4 with Dana. He comes to life again, and there's a really cool kind of thing that happens, and one of our friends comes and guest stars, and it's a cool thing.
Very, very cool. I think we've got some time. We're going to take some questions from the audience. I see somebody has a microphone. I'm not pointing any fingers, but let's go ahead and take some questions.
What's your name, sweetie?
Destiny McClinton.
Hey, Destiny. What's up?
I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
So the first question is, Max has always been a villain. Where do you see him at the end?
At the end, I would like to see him on the Z-Force, I think. Season 4, you'll see this year, is all about him and Phoebe training every day and working out and getting in our tip-top shape to compete, to be in this elite squad. So that's basically where this season is going, yeah.
And for the second question is, how was it to be in the Paradise Run?
Paradise Run was really cool. Yeah, Paradise Run was this game show that we shot in Hawaii. Actually, it was really, really cool. That was fun for me. It was not so much for me as it was for everyone else, because I had just broken my foot. Actually, yeah, I broke my
Bad thing to do right before a run.
Literally, it was like Paradise Run.
Yeah.
And like a month before, I was shooting this indie film, and I was just being a stupid kid and fell and broke my foot. So for Paradise Run, I was actually pretty recovered.
Yeah.
I went to the doctor. I took necessary steps to really recuperate fast. I think I was pretty much, I was walking and running again in like 5 weeks.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
pretty
Not bad.
speedy, but Nickelodeon was like, no, just sit out. So basically I'm like commentating on
Got
this
you.
Paradise Run.
Well, that's probably the safest.
It was great though. Like I had pina coladas.
There you go.
I
That's all
had,
you need.
food. I had a golf cart, and I was just commenting and making fun of my
way better.
co-stars falling and running. So
Hurting your foot was probably the best thing that could have happened for you.
exactly. That was a bad. I was messing around on set, and Burt Reynolds was right in front of me, and the legend.
Yeah.
And
Actually, I wanted to ask you about that.
trying to be cool and trying to talk to him, and I was like jacking around, and I just rolled my foot, and it just broke, and I knew it. It was like, and I was like I could totally tell.
Did you try to play it off in front of?
Oh
Burt
yeah, I
Reynolds
was
you were
like,
totally
it was one
fine?
of these numbers. It was like break, and I was like,
This is how I walk now.
cool, we're good.
This is just how I walk.
And one of the crew members was like, I saw that, you good? And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm all good. And like start sweating, literally, I can feel it.
Bert's in the corner like, kid just broke his leg.
Literally,
Yeah.
Bert
I
knew
know what
it
that
was
is.
up. He's like, he looked at me, he's like,
Amazing. Before we take another question, I got to know, any other Burt Reynolds stories? That must have been a crazy experience, man.
Yeah, that movie I did with Bert is called Apple of My Eye.
Yeah.
It got bought by Sony for worldwide distribution. So
Congratulations.
I'm really excited about that. And Bert was just the coolest, dude. Bert was really cool. To talk to him about, old Hollywood and acting and even football, like just a really cool guy. He's very frail.
Yeah.
He's very old now.
Yeah, he's up in his 80s.
Yeah, he's up
80
there.
The nose, but like, yeah.
But he's kicking. He's doing a good job. He's out there. He's shooting movies. He did another movie like right after mine with like a really close friend of mine, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Florida to do a movie with Burt Reynolds." I was like, "I just did a movie with Burt Reynolds in Florida." So he's working. He's doing his thing.
Turning out movies in Florida. He's living the dream.
He's just He took like a
anyone knows how to
private.
live,
What's that? Yeah.
Is Burt Reynolds.
Absolutely.
Cool. Let's take a few more from the
Yeah.
audience before we wrap this up.
Hey Jack,
What's
thank
up,
you
man?
for being here.
Hey.
Do you have any interest in directing episodes of the Thundermans?
That's actually interesting. You know, directing is something that I've thought about for sure. Directing the Thundermans would be really tough for me. It would be really hard because our show is not a regular sitcom. I feel like I could do it. I feel like I would have the right people behind me to, you know, I'd have my camera associate, Carl, who I'd lean on, and I would talk mostly to the actors. But you know, I think if I were to direct, I don't think it would be the Thundermans, only because it is such a hard show. We have a lot of special effects. There's a lot going on. You never know. You never know what the network would let me do. But I see them, you know, I'm going to, you know, maybe I'll come to them later this year, but I see them letting me do something, maybe not Thundermans, maybe another show, the of their roster. You know what I mean? I think they maybe feel more comfortable doing that. But yeah, that's a conversation that's on the horizon for me, for sure. That's a conversation that I'm looking to have with Nickelodeon, and we'll see.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
I think we have time for one more question.
Hi, Jack.
What's up?
I'm an adult, and I want to tell you that I really love the show myself.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you
I
so
was
much.
wondering, how was it doing a crossover with Henry Danger? And
Yeah.
if you could do another crossover with anyone, who would you want to do it with?
Crossover with Henry Danger was really cool. I had known Jace Norman for a really long time. We shot Splitting Adam together, which was a movie. You know of it? Yeah, it was a movie a couple summers ago. We shot up in Vancouver, and he was actually on the Thundermans. Yeah. Henry Danger. He played Flunky. He played my like Secret Service security guy when I ran for president of high school, and it was a cool show. And working with Dan Snyder especially was really, really cool because I had grown up watching Drake and Josh, all that, and Zoe 101, and taking his notes and being there with him. Like, he would tell me something, and I would just laugh out loud, like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And it's like that comedy that is like almost a signature of his.
Yeah.
You know, at least for my age group growing up watching a show, like, oh, that's Dan Snyder comedy. You can hear it. You know what I mean? And just getting those straight from him was a real treat. What was the second part of the question? Another crossover, right? We've done a couple. We did Haunted Hathaways back in the day. We did Henry Danger. I played myself on Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn. That was kind of fun. School of Rock, I guess. School of Rock's a good new show that Brianna's doing that and all those kids. So, and they're a good group. They're getting into they're you know, finding themselves in that show. And you know, you work out the kinks first couple seasons, and now it's weird to think that, you know, we're the longest show that's been around right now. That's on the air. For when we started season 1, it was Sam and Cat. Sam and Cat was just ending, and we were starting, and we were the newbies, and now we're the veterans, and like it's weird, you know, these new kids come in, each show that you know starts each year. We get to know them, like School of Rock, those kids, you know, and seeing them grow, seeing the Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn kids grow has been really, really cool. Because they're so young. Yeah. I mean, these kids on this network are so young and just beginning to develop their comedy and their acting, and it's a really interesting thing, you know, to see, you know, little kids grow up in this professional environment with adults that, you know, take it really seriously, and, you know, you're kind of thrown into that adult life. Yeah.
For sure. On that note, before we wrap things up, speaking of kids, your birthday's coming up, man, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's a big
year. Yeah, it is. I'm going to be 20.
That's right. Congratulations. A little round of applause for the man.
Yeah, no.
Any big plans? Any fun things on the docket?
I'm working.
You're working?
Yeah, I'll be working. I was going to go to Mammoth and snowboard, but I got word that we're shooting, for Nickelodeon, we're shooting a special. Cool. We're shooting, like, last year we did a Christmas special. We're doing a Valentine's Day special this year, so that'll be up around in February. And we're also shooting a summer special, so that'll be around in the summer, and we're shooting that in December. So right around where my birthday is, which is a bummer, but it's all good.
It's all good. It doesn't hurt that you got a pretty awesome job, right?
Yes, so, I can't complain.
Congratulations on all that. Real quick, I want to thank everybody for your questions. That was fantastic. And I want to thank you, man, for hanging out with us. Guys, I got to remind you, this Sunday the 27th, okay, Nickelodeon, T-Nick, and Nicktoons, you can see the Halo Awards. And Saturday the 19th, you get that hour-long special of the Thundermans. Do not miss it. One more time, make some noise. Jack Griffo, everybody, come on.
Thank you.